Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the game according to me. This is my weekly podcast where we talk about what's going on in the world of sports. We got a nice little topic to talk about this week. We've got Major League Baseball World Series starting tonight. We've got the NBA came out with its top 75 list for the 75 anniversary, just like it did 25 years ago for the 50th anniversary, the top 50 players. Um, Talk a little bit about that, and then of course, what we always do, we recap and preview the week in NCAA and pro football. So let's just go ahead and let's jump right into it, shall we? Okay, so let's talk about the NBA top 75 team. I'm not gonna go over all 76 members. Actually, it was 76 because there was a tie. So I'm not gonna go over 76, all 76 with you. Uh, at least not now. Maybe I might do it over on my YouTube channel. You want to go over there, youtube.com/AJTrip20. But yeah, what I want to talk about was who was left off and who, and a couple of people who were put on, right? So here are the people who were left off of the list, right? People like Walt Bellamy, Vince Carter, Adrian Dantley, Artis Gilmore, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Dwight Howard, Bernard King, Tracy McGrady, Dikembe Mutombo, Tony Parker, just to name a few. And people who were put on, people like Damian Lillard, people like Anthony Davis. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. Like Damian Lillard and Anthony Davis are like good players, but I don't know if they've done enough to where they need to be put on that list above any of the 11 names I named, right? That's why I probably would take off those two, Lillard and Davis, and I would put on probably Dwight Howard and Tracy McGrady. I think they were fantastic players, and it is shocking that they were not on the list. I'm also looking to see. You know what? Chris Bosh wasn't on this list either. Chris Bosh was not on this 75th anniversary team as well. So, and I know some people, and stupidly so, they think that um, some of the old guys shouldn't be on this list. But I think if you're gonna do, I think everybody understood the assignment. If you're not going to, you're just adding 25. Um, you're not redoing them or anything like that. So if the 50 that was named 25 years ago, they should stay. They should stay on the list. And I agree with that. So if those are the top 50, then it's just the next 25. And I agree with that. And I think anybody who says that any of those old guys, like guys that guys that I've never heard of, like you know, Paul Asbin, or guys that I've never seen, like Hal Greer or anything like that. If they, they didn't on, if they, people like them should be off of the list. Dave the Busher, some people like that. Kendrick Perkins on TV said, he making fun of the people who used to dribble the ball, and he had it like, in his hand. Perkins is kind of an idiot in the first place. So, he just continues to open his mouth and prove that he is. But yeah, I think you have to put the 50 on the list, and so it was shocking to see some of the people who were not on the list. But yes, I mean, what do you guys think? It's kind of crazy, right? 75 years in the NBA. The top 76 players in NBA history. Wow, that's incredible. Incredible feat. One of the World Series, we have the Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros. The Atlanta Braves beat the Dodgers in the NLCS, and the Boston Red Sox beat the the Astros beat the Boston Red Sox in the ALCS. So you have this matchup of the Braves and the Astros. Astros going to back to the World Series for the third time in 5 years, which is incredible. And the Atlanta Braves making their way back to the World Series for the first time since 1999. So uh, that is something to be incredible about. You know, I think what this comes down to is, can the Atlanta Braves out pitch? Can they? Well, not can they out pitch, but I guess we would say, can they out hit the Houston Astros? I think the Houston Astros are going to hit. They've been hitting all playoff long. So are they? So can the Atlanta Braves out hit? You know them, or can the Atlanta Braves pitching stop that Houston hitting? I don't know. I'm not too sure. But I'm gonna give the Atlanta Braves a chance here. I'm gonna say that Atlanta Braves win 2 games, but I'm gonna say the Houston Astros win the series. Let's check out this past weekend in football. On the college side, we had Appalachian State with an upset last Wednesday, beating Coastal Carolina 30-27, knocking Coastal Carolina of any opportunity of them ever going to the college football playoff. They probably had another shot to begin with, but now it's totally out of the realm of possibility. SMU beating Tulane 55-26 last Thursday. And then we go to Saturday's action. Cincinnati slipped by Navy 27-20. An upset. Penn State losing to Illinois 20-18. Michigan drowning Northwestern 33-7. Oklahoma slipping by Kansas 35-23. An amazing play in that game where on a fourth down, in which Kansas seemingly looked like they had stopped the Oklahoma running back. Caleb Williams, the quarterback for Oklahoma, took the ball away from the running back and drove forward for a first down. And because it was behind the line of scrimmage, it was a forward lateral, and it was okay. So it was amazing. Wake Forest versus Army, 70. Wake Forest beat Army 70-53. Wake Forest, a high-powered offense, making some waves in the ACC. Speaking in the ACC, Pittsburgh beat Clemson, knocking Clemson truly out of the college football playoff chances. Pittsburgh 27-17. BYU beat Washington 21-19. Mississippi took down LSU 31-17. Oregon defeated UCLA 34-31, keeping their options open for a college football playoff spot. Iowa State upset Oklahoma 24-21. Oklahoma now needs a miracle for them to make the college football playoff. Alabama beat on Tennessee 52-24. San Diego State beat Arizona 20-14. Texas at San Antonio beat Louisiana Tech 45-16. Ohio State smashed Indiana 54-7. It's kind of funny. Oregon beat Ohio State, but Oregon is ranked 5th, and Oregon is ranked 7th. That's why I worry about Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati is ranked 2nd still. I am very worried about Cincinnati not getting the respect that they deserve from the committee. Notre Dame beat USC 31-16. And Texas A&M beat South Carolina, 44-14. And as we look ahead to Week 9, Coastal Carolina plays Troy on Thursday. Saturday's action begins with Baylor hosting Texas. The 17th ranked Pitt Panthers taking on the University of Miami at Florida. Cincinnati going to Tulane. Once again, they need to, can they handle the pressure and keep the number 2 spot? Michigan State and Michigan, the game of the day. Both teams undefeated. Michigan is 6th. Michigan State is 8th. both have inside tracks on making it to the college football playoff. Although Ohio State is ahead of both of them, so that's what it is. Um, Iowa is against Wisconsin. Iowa State is Virginia. Texas Tech is going to Oklahoma. Georgia's at Florida for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Is what they used to call it. I don't know what to call it now. Oregon hosts Colorado. Wake Forest hosting Duke. Oklahoma State hosting Kansas. Auburn to Mississippi. Battle of top 20 teams. Auburn ranked 18. Mississippi ranked 10th. That should be a good game. SMU in Houston. Kentucky and Mississippi State. Penn State and Ohio State. Can Penn State come back after this horrible loss for against Illinois in 9 overtimes, which is a record? And they come back and knock Ohio State out of the running for a college football playoff spot. We will see. North Carolina is at Notre Dame. BYU is at Virginia. Well, Virginia's at BYU, excuse me. And Fresno State is at San Diego State. So, really, game of the week, it's all coming down to that Michigan State game. Whether it be upsets from other things, like Tulane upset Cincinnati, and Florida upset Georgia, yada, yada, yada. Penn State upset Ohio State. You know, some of those are action, but this is about Michigan and Michigan State. And in week 7, go back to last Thursday, no Nick Chubb, no Kareem Hunt, no Baker Mayfield, hardly no problems with the Browns. They beat the Broncos 17-14. Case Keenum was very effective, and then they had that running back, Dearness Johnson, who just stepped in place and just ran all over the place with the Broncos. So Broncos now looked early as like they was going to trying to make some noise, but have fallen off since. Worry about Vic Fangio's job now in Denver, and also to check on those Deshaun Watson rumors. Right now, it looks like it's either going to be to the Panthers or to the Dolphins for Deshaun Watson, but maybe the Broncos jump in there as well. The Sunday's action, boy, what is happening with the Chiefs? I don't know. Patrick Mahomes doesn't look like to be himself at all, throwing all types of ridiculous interceptions, and the defense is just so the defense was going to be bad. Maybe you understood that. I think the defense was bad a few years ago when they were in the AFC Championship game against the Patriots. But you had Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes made up for that. But he's not making up for it this season. I don't know. I'll see if the Chiefs have a bye when I preview the week 8. But Titans has put it on the Chiefs 27-3. Packers beat the Washington football team 24-10. The Bengals shockingly blew out the Ravens 41-17. The Bengals are 5-2 and they're top of the AFC North, man, and that's a really good team. Joe Burrow is a really good, young quarterback, and Jamar Chase is probably the best. He's probably the best young receiver in the game right now. So making himself look like he's a top 5 receiver, already. Sam Darnold was benched in the game against the Giants, where the Giants won 25-3, just throwing really bad interceptions. Another team that looked good at the start, but they're just falling off. And Sam Darnold has gone about his old way of just throwing way too many interceptions. The Falcons beat the Dolphins 30-28. Tua threw some bad interceptions in that game as well. So that's why we're getting those Deshaun Watson rumors. Trade deadline, I believe, is next Tuesday. I believe so. We still got a week before we'll see if Deshaun Watson does get traded or not. And again, I think we got 3 teams in the mix with the Dolphins, with the Panthers, and even though the Broncos are not being reported, I still think they could slip under the radar and make a play for Deshaun Watson. The Patriots beat the Jets for the 54-13. Zach Wilson sprained his PCL. He'll be out 2 to 4 weeks. So the Jets traded for Joe Flacco yesterday. I guess he will come in and he will start for the Jets. because they really didn't they were just gonna go with Zach Wilson as they probably should have, and just let him learn and grow that way. But now with this injury, they're going to get a true backup for the Jets, so that they at least have a chance in some games. John Gruden, who Raiders don't know who that person is. 33-20, they beat the Eagles. Two straight games of magnificent play from this team after the whole John Gruden debacle, and good on them. Make a run to the, to the playoffs. Silver and black. Make a run. Just win, baby. And the Lions tried to just win, putting out all the stops, fake punts, onside kicks, everything. Still cannot take down the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford beating his old team, 28-19. Buccaneers just destroyed the Bears, 38-3. Tom Brady goes for his 600th touchdown pass in NFL history. Congratulations to him. He's a great quarterback, not the greatest of all time. I will continue to tell you, it is Peyton Manning. Point blank period, end of discussion. Cardinals beat the Texans 31-5. J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins get some revenge on their old team. In a bomb cyclone, the Colts destroyed the 49ers 38-18. I feel bad for Jimmy Garoppolo because he was traded to the 49ers, and then when he went to the 49ers and played, he won like so many games in a row that people were thinking, well, this was the Jimmy Garoppolo that we thought it could be, and then he tore his ACL the next year, and then he came back the following year, took his team to the playoff, but he really hasn't been able to stay healthy, and he really hasn't grown a lot. He really just hasn't. He really hasn't progressed a lot. He's making he's making some really bad decisions, and you can say last night it was Sunday night it was the monsoon and the bomb cyclone, and so maybe that's that helped it out, and yeah, you could make it for that game. You can make that excuse, but all the other games it's still some stuff there. So I don't know. I don't know if Trey Lance is going to be healthy or not coming off next week. They play in my Bears, so you never know. But that's just I kind of feel bad for Jimmy Garoppolo. And another person I feel bad for is Russell Wilson, because um, his streak ended, and then he's not been able to just help his team out at all. Geno Smith, who looked so good against the Rams, looked so good against coming in relief for Russ in that game against the Rams. You kind of thought, well, maybe Geno Smith was sat and he's learned some things, but he's still doing the same Geno Smith stuff, and it's unfortunate. He's just he's not able to help his team win at all. He just isn't. And the Saints beat the Seahawks last night, 13-3. Jameis Winston isn't doing better in New Orleans, really. And people all over all over the television this preseason, they was talking about how the Saints were, and how Jameis Winston was going to help the Saints, do all of this, and Jameis Winston was going to have a spectacular year. Well, no, that hasn't been the case. He threw 5 touchdowns that first game, but really he's been pedestrian. He's been pedestrian, and you know why? You know what they're doing? Sean Payton is treating Jameis Winston the way Matt Nagy and the Bears are treating Justin Fields. They're treating him like a rookie quarterback. he's barely throwing the ball. They're running the games. All his throws are short passes. You know why? Because they don't trust him to make the right decisions and trust him to do the things. And he showed it in the second game against Carolina. He made some dumb throws. It's just you can talk all about just taking what's there for him and making the correct throws, but it's in his nature to throw the ball around the yard. Because it's just Dan Orlovsky talks about it. It's just his talent says I can do more. So to throw a check down, he said talks about this about Patrick Mahomes, but you can put this on Jameis Winston too. His talent says I can throw it down the field. Why am I going to throw a check down? Even though the check down is the right play because it's wide open. And he still throws it and it's incomplete or it's batted away or it's picked. I predicted Taysom Hill would win that battle. I'm very surprised he didn't. But I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to be surprised if by some point at the well, I can't say that because if they're winning, they're not going to make a change. They're winning, they're not going to make a change. But I'm still would be very surprised if Taysom Hill doesn't get some time at quarterback, more time at quarterback this season because it's they're winning, but they got the Buccaneers next week, and they ain't gonna be able to do shit with that defense. It's like the Bears was. It might be the exact same thing going down next week that happened with the Bears this week to the Saints. If you look ahead, Thursday night, the Packers and the Cardinals. Devontae Adams has tested positive for COVID, so we'll see if he'll be able to play. Probably not. You need two negative tests after you test positive to be able to come back and play. So, tested positive on Monday, excuse me. You need to test negative today and then test negative tomorrow. Or I don't know. I don't even know if he tests negative. Like if he tests positive today and tests negative Wednesday and then tests negative on Thursday, Thursday morning, I don't know if that could, how quickly that could be. The Panthers are at the Falcons. The Titans are at the Colts. That's an interesting matchup. The Colts on a bit of a winning streak here. The Titans as well, battling for the top of the AFC South. Dolphins and the Bills. The Bills coming off the bye week. This should be another monster destruction, for the Bills. Let's keep it continue. The Bengals and the Jets. The Bengals and the Jets. Again, we're talking about this. The Bengals got to keep it continue. Jets to be, without their starting quarterback, should be an easy win. Steelers and the Browns. This is gonna be very interesting. Again, may not have Baker Mayfield and the Steelers coming off their bye. What are they gonna be doing? Well, let me see that. Eagles and the Lions. Lions should get their first victory here. They really should. The Eagles are not a good team. And the Lions are playing so hard. The Lions should get their first victory here against the Eagles. Rams, the Texans. Once again, the Texans are god-awful garbage. And the Rams are who they are. They should destroy these Texans. 49ers and the Bears. Who knows what's going to happen here. Matt Nagy has come down with COVID-19. Just like, he is vaccinated because all coaches have to be vaccinated. Like, I don't know if Devontae Adams is vaccinated or not. Matt Nagy's vaccinated. Just like, what's his face in Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury. He also needs 2 negative tests to be on the sideline this Sunday. So we will see what happens with that. The Patriots and the Chargers. Mac Jones versus Justin Herbert. That should be very interesting. Jaguars and the Seahawks. This is a good opportunity. Jaguars coming off their victory, and they keep it continue. The Seahawks, Geno Smith. Once again, this is this is the Jaguars team. They're a better team, even with Geno Smith. They're at home. They should win this game. So we'll see this. Like what I mentioned before, the Buccaneers and the Saints. But Saints are at home, but Buccaneers are smoking hot. I would expect the Buccaneers to go in there and mollywop the Saints, but Saints do have a pretty decent defense. We will see what happens there. Broncos at the football team, or the football teams, the Broncos, I should say. That should be very interesting. Again, once again, Taylor Heineke at the helm for Washington hasn't played too bad for Washington. Maybe they do have a star not a star, but a quarterback in Washington, or maybe they'll have to get one. Sunday Night Football, it's the Cowboys and the Vikings. Both teams coming off the bye. Both teams are going to be rested, ready to go. Dalvin Cook should be healthy, running the ball. Kirk Cousins on a roll. Ever since that Browns game, he's come back and been incredible. he had a streak of like 17 some games of a quarterback rating over 90 before that Browns game, and he's jumped right back into it. He's been amazing. He is, he's not the quarterback everybody thinks he is. He's a great quarterback, damn good one. And then Monday Night Football, here we go. The Chiefs are hosting the Giants. Get to get an extra day of rest and an extra day of recovery, especially for Patrick Mahomes, who's in that game against the Titans. He had a little bit of a story where he kind of just got drilled in the neck and head area with a Tennessee Titans player leg. So he should be on the rear to go. There's no need for concussion protocol because he passed it on the sidelines. So yeah, it's that should be very. That's not going to be. I don't think that should be a great game. That should be. We'll really know if the Chiefs are having problems if they cannot blow out the Giants. This should be a 34-13 type of game. And if it's not, if it's 34, like if it's like 34-31, then we know. Then again, the Chiefs defense really is in trouble. They are really in trouble. So we'll find out a lot of answers this week from a lot of teams. All right, y'all. That is going to be it for this week's game. According to me, make sure you're back here next week as we do this once again. We'll talk about college football. We'll talk about pro football. We'll talk about, if we need to talk about something in the NBA, we will. We will probably talk about the Major League Baseball World Series because next week should be, let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, off day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, off day, Monday. Yeah, so next Tuesday would be Game 6. And as I said earlier in my predictions, I am predicting the Houston Astros to win 42. So they would win next Tuesday. So we were so at any point, no matter what happens, we're going to talk about the World Series in some form or fashion next week as well. So yes, sir. I like that, man. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. If you feel like supporting your boy AJTRIP, you can go to anchor.fm and /AJTRIP the show, and you can go there, and right there on the page you can support in any fashion, in three ways: 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or $9.99 a month. Or like I always say, just on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast, share it, rate it, give it 5 stars, whatever, and just do that because that helps me out as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.